Welcome to Ghost Carrier, our 15-part alternative history audio series about a world where America lost the Pacific War. This is the tale of a doomed aircraft carrier and its crew, stranded in the vast Pacific by a supernatural twist of fate. This story has been adapted from my book, Ghost Carrier. You can purchase the full version in paperback, Kindle, or audiobook from the links in this episode's description. I'm Robert Child, and Episode 2 will begin in a moment. For a limited time, grab a signed copy of my Big War box set, a must-have keepsake for your shelf. This compelling collection features 5 of my nonfiction military history titles, complete with photographs and detailed maps. Spanning 375 pages, the stories range from the Revolution to World War II. You'll receive Washington Crossing, America's First D-Day, Rush on Boys, Hamilton at War, Gettysburg, Voices from the Front, How Canada Won the Great War, and D-Day in 90 Minutes. Don't miss out. Order your signed copy of the Big War box set now. Find the link in this episode's description.
Ghost Carrier, They Died to Fight Another Day. Written by Robert Child. Narrated by Kirk Winkler. Dr. Garrett's office. You say you've been having this same dream for 3 weeks? No, Dr. Garrett, Frank protested to the salt-and-pepper-haired physician. It's not a dream. I'm awake and experiencing it. What do you mean awake? I know it sounds stupid, but I can feel the bed, feel Kate next to me. I just can't move or open my damn eyes till it's over, like someone is holding me down and keeping my eyes shut, almost like I'm paralyzed. Frank frowned at the doctor. He knew this appointment was a big mistake. I can prescribe a strong sedative you can take right before bed that will knock you out so you can get some rest, but I'd also like to perform some additional tests. Anything, doctor. I just want this all to end. I also want to refer you to a specialist, Garrett said as he reached for a script to jot down the practitioner's name and address. A specialist? What kind of specialist? Frank asked warily. Someone who can go deeper into the possible root cause of these visions. You mean a shrink? The science of psychology has helped millions of people restore their mental well-being, Mr. Rusk. Mental well-being? Jesus, so you think I'm off my rocker? No way. No way. Look, Mr. Rusk, I don't know what our tests will determine. Hopefully nothing. But if there is nothing neurological that's causing this sleep deprivation, we have to pursue psychological analysis. And under the law, it's my responsibility as a physician to see to it that all avenues of care are pursued. Like committing me to a mental hospital. I've never had to recommend that in 30 years of practice. Well, Doc, there's a first time for everything. Frank and Kate's house 2 weeks later. Frank kept moving his pasta bolognese around the plate. He wasn't hungry. A shrink. Can you believe that? I have to see a shrink. Frank, there's nothing wrong with it if it helps you. Besides, aren't you glad the medical tests came back negative? You don't have a brain tumor. Let's be thankful for that. Frank nodded in begrudging agreement. Katie stared at him for an awkward moment. What? Nothing. No, what is it, Katie? Something's on your mind. Spill it. It's just that your birthday. You never told me why you jumped up from the table that day like a crazy... Frank dropped his fork on his plate and barked, You too? Katie shifted her gaze away. Well, if you must know, your husband, better known as Mr. Looney Tunes, saw my dad's face in the candle flames on that cake. There, you happy now? Frank threw his napkin onto the table and folded his arms in silent challenge. Oh, but Frank, that could be a sign, a good sign. That's what Teresa says. Who? What, on that show you watch? Yeah. Well, what does Teresa say about seeing your father's face screaming in terror as he's looking at you from a cake? Dr. Parveen's office. Frank found the address on Lammy Road and then saw the big Kettering sign. He had arrived. Katie wanted to come, but Frank insisted he would do this on his own. He wasn't going to back out. He wanted to prove to her that he really would give this a shot. Just the same, he was nervous as hell, having never been to a shrink before. His appointment was with a Dr. Parveen. The wait was short in the subdued office reception area. Everything seemed low-key, including the low lighting and soft-spoken receptionist. Smooth jazz drifted down from the round ceiling panel speakers. A short Indian man in a dark gray suit entered the waiting area. "Mr. Rusk?" "Yes?" "I'm Dr. Parveen. Won't you come in?" The Indian psychologist was not what Frank had expected. Then again, he had no idea what he expected with a name like Parveen. He followed the man into the dimly lit office. "Please make yourself comfortable. Would you like something to drink? Some water, perhaps?" No, thank you, doctor. Look, I've never been to one of these places before. How does it work? Do I lay down on a couch or something?" The doctor smiled. "Only if you want to. What we do here together is determine if there are incidents in your life, past or present, that could be causing this mental anxiety. If we can identify the root causes, there are certain things we can do to address and alleviate the problem. Hopefully, we will end the problem altogether through treatment. That is the goal." "Well, that sounds fine. I guess everything I tell you stays in this room." "Absolutely. You can speak with complete freedom here." For the first time since entering the office, Frank relaxed. This little man seemed harmless enough. "Now, the way I like to start is to get right to the heart of the issue. I have gotten the report from Dr. Garrett." He picked up a clipboard from his desk and glanced down. "I understand you are seeing visions. Why don't you start by telling me what you think they are?" "I don't know what they are." "Oh, I think you do know, Mr. Rusk." Frank looked at Parveen oddly, and his voice rose. "No, Doc, I don't. If I knew what they were, I'd tell you. Anyway, aren't you supposed to tell me?" "That's not the way it works," Parveen responded gently. Frank rose to his feet. "Can I walk around?" "Whatever makes you comfortable." Frank struggled. "You're right, Doc. I do know. God, I know it without a doubt in my mind." "Go on." "I don't know how and I don't know why, but I think I'm seeing my dad's last moments on Earth, the time right before he died. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that's what I'm seeing." "How did your father die?" "He was a sailor on board an aircraft carrier called Liscum Bay." "During World War II?" "Yes, I was born in September 43. He was already out to sea. He died just before Thanksgiving that year. I never got a chance to know him." "What happened?" "Worst carrier disaster in the Pacific. They were off the coast of some small island in the central Pacific, and the ship got hit by a Japanese torpedo that went straight into the bomb bay." "I am sorry." "Thanks. Apparently it was quick. The ship torched up like a dried-out Christmas tree. The guys had no chance. It went down in 20 minutes. Close to 650 men died, including my dad." Dr. Parveen nodded sympathetically. "And now, for some God-forsaken reason, I'm reliving his last moments every night when my head hits the pillow. Doc, can you find a way to make this stop? Growing up without him was bad enough. Seeing him die over and over." Frank's voice trailed off as he slumped back into his chair. Parveen took his pen and held it to his mouth, clicking it a couple of times. "So it is not an incident in your own life that is causing these sleepless nights, but seeing the death or imagining the death of your father?" "Oh, I'm not imagining it." "What do you mean?" I'm there. I'm seeing it through his eyes. I'm feeling what he was feeling, every detail. How could I imagine all that? The mind is very complex. We understand only a fraction of its power. And how about seeing his face in the candle flames of my birthday cake? You saw your father's face in a cake? In the flames. I know, it sounds nuts, but I saw him. What did he look like? Not like I remember him from my mother's old pictures. How so? He looked young, but he stared right into my eyes and had the deepest, god-awful fear I've ever seen on a man's face, like he was scared shitless. And then he opened his mouth and screamed at me. Screamed? Screamed what? My name.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ghost Carrier, our 15-part alternative history series. Join us next time for another installment. This story has been adapted from my book, Ghost Carrier. You can purchase the full version in paperback, Kindle, or audiobook from the links in this episode's description. And if you like what you hear, leave a review or a rating, or just click the follow button. I'm Robert Child, and this has been Ghost Carrier, only on Point of the Spear.
Music licensed from audioblocks.com. Point of the Spear is produced by RSC Media Group.